All right, let's get straight into it. Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are diving into the ultimate insider's guide to mastering the books of prime entry. If you are preparing for the Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706 syllabus, consider this explainer your absolute strategic blueprint. We're going to completely demystify the multi-stage analysis required for success, break down the exact cognitive strategies you need, and show you precisely how to secure those high tariff marks. We're talking about dissecting complex questions, mastering your time allocation, and deploying top-tier critical thinking strategies. So let's dive into this.
This topic appears in every examination series. That insight comes straight from the senior examiner notes. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't some fringe topic you can just skim over or cross your fingers and hope doesn't show up on exam day. Grasping this material is an absolute non-negotiable for passing. The stakes are incredibly high, but you know what? The good news is that because it's so predictable, mastering it gives you a massive guaranteed advantage over the rest of the candidates. Here is our masterclass blueprint for today: core principles, procedural framework, method mark strategy, critical analysis, examiner warnings, and finally, our exam execution strategy. Section 1, Core Accounting Principles, Building the Foundation. Notice the absolute precision of the language used in this definition. Books of prime entry aren't just rough notebooks or scratch pads. They are the primary accounting records where business transactions are first systematically recorded, analyzed, and evidenced before posting to ledgers. The theoretical architecture of your entire exam rests on these precise definitions and causal relationships. If you don't truly understand that these records are the ultimate evidence base for your reasoning, you're going to struggle to build your analytical framework later on. You have to know the foundational rules before you can evaluate them. Principal examiner reports reveal a really fascinating dividing line between average and elite candidates. It's the difference between treating this as an isolated topic versus integrating it across the syllabus. Think about two types of students. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Alex is highly technical, memorizes every formula, but treats this topic like it lives in a vacuum. Sam, on the other hand, is a broader thinker, but maybe struggles with structural precision. To get the top grade, you actually need to combine their strengths. The examiner reports are crystal clear. Candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. If you view the sales, purchases, returns journals, and cash book as completely separate silos, you are literally leaving points on the table. You absolutely have to connect them to the wider accounting ecosystem. Section 2, the procedural framework, securing essential method marks. Accounting presentation follows incredibly strict conventions. The procedural framework demands these 4 essential steps: proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotation. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's just about making my paper look pretty. No, actually, scratch that. It's way deeper than that. Applying these correct formats develops crucial professional skills. When an examiner looks at your paper, they want to see the work of a future accounting professional. Every single proper heading and clear annotation signals to that examiner that you are in complete, absolute control of the data. So, this brings us to a really crucial point: understanding what we call the method mark strategy. But hey, before we break down exactly how to extract these method marks and solve the hardest parts of these problems, I want to take a quick second. If you're finding these strategies helpful and want to ensure you never miss a weekly Cambridge Breakthrough strategy, make sure to subscribe to the channel Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A levels. That's at Ace the Exam _IGCSE, and enable all notifications. All right, let's get back to it. In multi-stage analysis questions, which are those heavy 9 to 15 mark problems, points are awarded heavily for the process itself, not just the final number at the bottom of the page. Those 4 procedural steps we just covered, they are literally your key to unlocking assessment objective 1 and 2 points. Even if you make a calculation error under immense time pressure, a rigorously formatted procedure will catch those vital method marks because you are clearly showing your logical working. It is your ultimate safety net. Section 3, Critical Analysis, Unlocking Top-Tier Bands. To hit those top-tier bands, you must actively demonstrate evaluative thinking. But what does that actually mean in practice? Well, it means hitting very specific analytical marks, questioning assumptions, considering different perspectives, and, perhaps most importantly, justifying your decisions with hard, irrefutable evidence. This is where we need to dissect the anatomy of command words. Analyze is completely different from evaluate, and explain is worlds apart from to what extent. When an exam prompt asks you to evaluate the books of prime entry for a specific business, you aren't just reciting facts, you are building a bulletproof argument based on the systematic evidence you recorded.
This evaluative thinking builds directly into comparative analysis. But there is a fundamental rule of Cambridge exams you simply must follow. Proper comparative analysis strictly requires the identification of both similarities and differences to be considered complete. I see students miss this all the time. If you only tell the examiner how two accounting treatments are similar, you have literally only answered half the prompt. You have to look at the whole picture. I really want to drive home this essential instruction because it is directly inspired by the examiner's marking criteria. Use comparative connectives, support each comparison with evidence, and draw conclusions about relative importance. That last part right there, drawing conclusions about relative importance, that is the final piece of the analytical puzzle. Don't just list your findings and walk away like your job is done. You need to tell the examiner exactly why one factor outweighs the other. That is the secret to locking in those top-tier bands. Section 4. Top Examiner Warnings, the Trap and Triumph Arc. The classic trap. Think about it. Every single year, examiners sit at their desks grading thousands of papers, and they watch brilliant, capable candidates fall straight into this exact same pitfall when tackling questions under exam pressure. You can know all the formulas and all the theory in the world, but if you step into this trap, your grade will absolutely suffer. So, what are they? Here are the top 3 mistakes pulled straight from the examiner reports. Number 1, using the wrong approach for the given context. Number 2, forgetting those all-important format checks we discussed earlier. And number 3, this is a massive one, providing generic, non-specific answers. Imagine I showed you a poorly written student answer right now and asked you to spot the flaw. 9 times out of 10, the flaw is that the student wrote a beautiful, textbook-perfect paragraph that has absolutely nothing to do with the specific scenario in the prompt. The ultimate examiner alert is this: you must always link every single point directly to the given business context. Rote, learned, generic answers will earn you almost 0 marks. To combat this completely, I highly suggest utilizing a memory hack called the visual story method. Instead of just blindly memorizing lists of journals, I want you to visualize the actual flow of a document, say a supplier's invoice, traveling physically through a specific business's office. Who receives it? Where is it logged? This securely encodes the concepts in your brain, ensuring you deeply, intuitively understand the mechanics. And that is exactly what prevents you from applying the wrong context on exam day. Section 5. Exam Execution, the Ultimate Strategy. When you sit down in that exam hall, the clock is ticking and the pressure is on. You are going to rely on these 6 chronological actions. 1. Deconstruct the question. Do a 3-step question scan so you know exactly what command words are being used. 2. Extract the relevant data from the stimulus materials. 3. Select your analytical framework. 4. Execute your calculations with clear, unambiguous notation. 5. Verify your results. Think of this as your last 5 minutes review checklist. And 6. Present your final answer using pristine, correct terminology, keeping in mind the paragraph balance formula we talked about, balancing facts with evaluation. This right here is the 6-step cycle of an elite candidate. So, as we wrap up this masterclass, I want to leave you with this final thought. Are you just memorizing ledgers? Or are you actually preparing to analyze the financial heartbeat of a complex business? The difference between those 2 approaches is exactly what determines your final grade. Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent, relentless strategy. I challenge you to apply this entire examiner's playbook to your very next past paper. And listen, if you want to ensure you are fully equipped for exam day, you need to hit the subscribe button for Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A levels at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell for future exam hacks, and right now, leave a comment below telling me your target grade. Keep analyzing, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next explainer.